the Enlightenment ideas and the Declaration of Independence. As fighting between the American colonists and the British grew more bitter, many colonists began to argue for independence from Great Britain. By the summer of 1776, a committee was set up to draft a Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4th, 1776. Its main purpose was to explain and to justify to the world why the American colonists had decided to declare their independence from Great Britain. The Enlightenment was a movement of ideas that occurred in Europe between 1680 and 1790. Enlightenment thinkers sought to apply reason to understand, explain, and even change the world. Many of these Enlightenment ideas influenced the ideas found in the Declaration of Independence. This document drew heavily on the beliefs of Enlightenment thinkers, especially those of John Locke. While a number of Enlightenment thinkers made important contributions to American government, it was Locke's influence that had the greatest impact. His ideas formed the foundation of the concept that all political power derives from the people. Much of what Thomas Jefferson wrote in the Declaration was based on Locke's ideas about government. The key paragraph of the Declaration contained a statement of principles upon which the colonists believed all government should be based. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, government are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government. The Declaration states that all people have certain unalienable rights. Those are natural rights you are born with. People have these rights simply because they are human beings. These unalienable rights are those given by God to people at the creation. These basic human rights consist of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These rights are God-given. The government did not give people these rights. Thus, the government cannot take away these rights. Any government attempt to abolish or take away these rights would violate God's will. The Declaration of Independence was in large part based on John Locke's social contract theory. Locke, a British philosopher, believed people have the right to form a government to protect their inalienable or natural rights. In this social contract, people surrender some of their freedoms in exchange for the protection provided by government. As a result, a government has definite responsibilities to its citizens. If a government forces its will on the people, that government is no longer a legitimate government and has no right to rule the people. The idea dealing with consent of the governed was first explained by John Locke in his writing Two Treatises of Government and his Second Treatise of Government. Locke's writings clarified the idea of a government based on the consent of the governed. He believed that a government is needed to protect people's peace, prosperity against those few individuals in a society who would violate this serenity. The right of a government to exist is based solely on the consent of those it governs. This right exists just as long as that government satisfies the basic needs of the people. Once a government violates the trust of the people, it loses its right to exist and should be, with all the rights of the Englishmen living in, and should be overthrown or abolished. Americans believed that they were Englishmen, not colonials, with all the rights of an Englishman living in London. The Declaration of Independence was essentially a restatement of Locke's principle of the people's right to rebel against an unjust ruler and establish a new government. The Declaration states, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. This statement means that the power of government derives from the people. Let's look at Locke's logic and thinking and see where it appears in the Declaration of Independence. Self-evident truths. In the Declaration, Thomas Jefferson wrote what was common knowledge. Everyone knows that the government and its citizens enter into a social contract. Such statements do not require proof. These truths are obvious and beyond question. Quote, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Unalienable rights. Citizens have rights given to them by God, and they cannot be given up. These, quote, unalienable rights are endowed or gifted to them by their Creator. These rights are a natural part of us and refer to specific qualities that make us human. Without these rights, we would lose our humanity and be no better than ordinary animals. Pursuit of happiness. Jefferson referred to these unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Each day, people make choices that add to their well-being and what makes them happy. Our ability to make these choices is the pursuit of happiness. According to Locke, this process of choosing is part of a human's unchangeable nature. The purpose of government, Locke believed, that to ensure that no one would take away a person's rights, men created governments. The purpose of the government is to protect these unalienable rights, as the Declaration stated, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. This means that the consent to be governed is given to the government by the people. Locke defended the overthrow of the British king in 1688, arguing that government was based on a contract with those it governed. If the government failed to uphold its part of the social contract, it should be overthrown. Jefferson spelled this out in the Declaration of Independence. If the government was created to protect the colonists' unalienable rights, began to abuse them, the people had a right to revolt and create a new government. It is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government. The Declaration also listed a series of grievances against the British king in Parliament. The king imposed taxes on the colonists without their consent. The king made the military superior to the civil government. The king refused to answer colonial petitions for the redress of grievances. The king asked citizens to give up their rights of representation. The king quartered large numbers of soldiers among the colonists. The king deprived the colonists of their trial by jury, and the king dissolved the colonists' representative assemblies. The king protected his soldiers against trial for the murder of colonists, and the king waged war against the American colonists. These were considered to be the grievances listed in the Declaration of Independence.